Hi, this is Andrea Kane, and I'm your instructor for HSC 114 Medical Terminology. We are supposed to be having live weekly Zoom classes on Mondays and Wednesdays from 12:05 to 1:35 p.m. And you are getting this video because Zoom is not functioning appropriately, and I am not sure it will be up by 12:05. And I don't want to risk it, and I don't want anyone to feel anxious about this. So I'm going to go ahead and record this syllabus review, and as I put in my email that I sent out to you a little bit ago, there is also a video that I will post for you that talks about how to study for this class, as well as one on the features of your textbook. So let's go ahead and get started. Here we go. This is a syllabus review, and if we were meeting by Zoom, I would be going over this with you, Zoom to Zoom, so to speak, our version of face-to-face at this time. So there are some things I want to go over with this syllabus. The first thing is you can always access it. If you go in Brightspace under Contents and then under Course Materials, you will see that the syllabus has been posted, and it's there. It's a PDF file. You can bring it up. You can reprint it, whatever you want to do with that. The course guide is also there if you wanted to refer back to that, although I have copied in a good portion of the course guide into the syllabus so you have them in one place to look. So we're getting started here in August, and we will finish in December. This is a 3-credit-hour class. There is lots of studying to be done. The work itself may not be terribly demanding, but what you need to do to be prepared to do the work is where the demanding time comes in. It is all lecture, but I will try and make it as interactive as possible, especially since we are a small group of 7 or 8 of us together, and also because we will be Zooming, which is called online synchronous. I will be taping or videotaping our Zoom sessions. So if, for instance, you have something come up and you're not able to attend one when we actually Zoom, I will be recording that and posting it later for you to watch. One thing about that I learned last week is that Zoom captures everything. So from the time you sign on to the Zoom session until it's done recording, when I shut it off, even if I'm not on Zoom, it records you. So let's say you and a couple of classmates get on 15 minutes before the class starts and you're chattering over Zoom. Everything that you are saying, and if you have your video on, your visuals are being captured. Now granted, some of that can be edited out, but just so you know, it is being captured. So if you get on 15 minutes early, you may choose to not turn on your audio and not turn on your video until we get ready to get started, unless you want to be videotaped. Just saying, in the interest of open disclosure. All right, so instructor information. My information is here on the syllabus. The best way to reach me is through email. I do try and check it every day, several times a day, even on weekends and holidays. Although occasionally I will take a weekend off, so don't be surprised if that happens. I have an office in Max Clark, but this semester, with this situation being what it is, I probably will not be on campus more than once or twice in the entire semester. So the best way to reach me will be through Zoom office hours. And of course, with Zoom down today, that's just an irony. Your best way to reach me then is my cell phone. Shoot me an email, and I'll give you my cell phone number if we need to talk when Zoom is down. I have an iPhone, so if you have an iPhone, we can also FaceTime if that would be your preference. But I prefer to use email. That is my preference, and I only use my cell phone in extenuating circumstances, shall we say. But I will have the Zoom set up and that ready to go once Zoom settles down later today, and I'll make sure that information is available to you. All right, moving on to course information. We are studying medical terminology. It is the language of medicine. It is used throughout the world. We are emphasizing word analysis, construction of definitions, pronunciation, and spelling. Our main primary common learning outcome is critical thinking. That's what we will be assessing through this course, is are you using critical thinking skills? The major course objectives are listed as ELOs, Educational Learning Outcomes. That's 8.1 through 8.7 on the screen. And basically it's all about what we're doing with medical terminology. We'll be doing that for every unit in the book that we study. And speaking of units, breaking down those educational learning outcomes into program learning outcomes or unit objectives, that's what happens next. And each unit covers chapters in the book. So you'll see that in Brightspace. You'll see it as we go through the program, as we go through the course. So just, I'm going to scroll through here quickly. Again, you can access the syllabus to your heart's content on Brightspace under Contents and Course Materials. And feel free to print off a copy. So we have a total of 15 units, or sorry, 16 units that we'll be covering. All right, let's get on to required materials. You have a book requirement. It is one book. That's it. And it is the 12th. Whoa, sorry, it just knocked something over on my desk. My apologies. It is this book, The Language of Medicine by Davie Ellen Chabner. It is the 12th edition. So make sure that you have the 12th edition, not the 11th edition, but the 12th edition. And that is what I need you to have. I'm going to take a pause here for just a second, and I will be right back with you. Back again. Sorry for that short break. Okay, so we're talking textbooks. This is what you need to have. Davie Ellen Chabner, Language of Medicine, 12th edition. Make sure that you have that. If you don't want to buy the paper book, that's fine. You can use the electronic book. You can rent a book, however you want to do it. I just personally prefer paper because I can write in it and make it my own and refer back to it. But that's just my personal preference. So whatever works for you. We are online blended learning / online synchronous. So essentially we are an online class. Everything that you need will be online. It'll be available for you 24/7, 365. However, having said that, just remember we Zoom Mondays and Wednesdays from 12:05 to 1:35. And that's when I'll be looking forward to you being online, me being online, and us being able to interact. So, make sure that you're there for as many of those classes as possible because that is where I'm supposed to be taking attendance from. But if something does come up and you can't make that, I'll just be looking for, did you go in and do the work that you needed to get done during the week? So, grades. Make sure you stay on top of your grades. If there is something graded and you don't agree with the grade, please reach out to me. Or if you think you submitted something and you're not seeing a grade for it in the grade book, make sure you reach out to me and say, hey, I know I submitted that, so that we can go back and figure out what happened and get it taken care of fairly quickly. So just make sure that you're checking that and watching that, because as much as I try to do that, I have 6 courses and I have lots of students, and I will admit that I am not perfect and things do fall through the cracks sometimes. And I don't want that to impact you. So make sure you're checking and that you're reaching back out to me. So grading scale, this is NICC's grading scale. I don't do anything with it. It's just there. What I do is figure out the total number of points and then mathematically plug those in. And hopefully those are accurate and correct. In this class, you will have 57 items. You will have 19 discussions worth 21% of your grade. You will have 19 assignments worth 28% of your grade. You will have 18 quizzes, assessments, and those are worth 40% of your grade. You will have 1 project paper worth 270 points, which is 11% of your grade, and that is all, plus 1 extra credit opportunity worth 90 points, and that's 4% of your grade. So, this is what it is. Your assignments, or I'm sorry, your quizzes and assessments, you have those, and that's different than assignments. Yes. So, is that the same? I need to double check that. I apologize for that confusion there. I have seen so many syllabi recently that I am starting to get confused, and I apologize. I will double check that. HSC 114 has originally been designed by and taught by multiple NICC instructors, and that is still the case. My class is a little bit different than everybody else's because I have tried to tweak it for students and for learning. So just be aware that it may be different if you have friends that are in other sections of HSC 114 or have taken it. Mine's a little bit different. Hopefully different is good. You will be assessed. We all get assessed. I get assessed. The college gets assessed. You get assessed. We assess you. They assess us. It's all one big assessment process. So one of the ways that we do that is through tests and quizzes to see what you're learning and make sure you're learning the right things. Two things about this paragraph I want to point out to you. Do not start a quiz unless you are planning to finish it. When it comes to your final weekly quiz, it's a one and done deal. It's a one-shot situation. So if you're going to start a quiz, make sure you have enough time to finish it. Because if you don't and you log out, Brightspace thinks you're done. And so they automatically grade everything else as 0. And so you could potentially be doing really well, but you'll end up with a 0 because if half the test is empty, blank, in terms of answers, that's how Brightspace interprets it. Also, make sure that your wireless connection is very stable. And I know this is hard for all of us right now because of the storms that came through a couple weeks ago and how that disrupted a lot of internet and caused a lot of damage. But for the most part, when you're taking a quiz, make sure that your connection is stable and steady. Because if you get disrupted, if you get disconnected, again, Brightspace is going to perceive that you said, oh, I'm done, and they'll just mark it all as 0s. All right, course calendar is at the end. We will keep going toward that. Feedback, I'm looking forward to your feedback, so make sure that you share it. There'll be plenty of opportunities for you to do that online, and you're going to help me do a better job as an instructor. You're going to help the course improve, and you will help NICC in the end because we really want to make this meaningful and worthwhile. And I talked a little bit about assessment already, so I won't go back to that. I talked a little bit about attendance, and so that's all there too to be read through. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on academic dishonesty. Really what it comes down to is please don't do it. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. No matter what you're going through, internal or external pressure, it's not worth it. So please don't go there. This is your professionalism. This is your reputation. This is your consciousness. This is your integrity. Just don't go there. And the way people stumble into academic dishonesty, and most do, very few people intend academic dishonesty. Don't. More often than not, they just accidentally stumble into it. And it has to do with plagiarism. So really quick, a couple of things here. If you use someone's direct quote, make sure you use quotation marks and a text citation. I would recommend you use both. You're using somebody else's words or views or ideas or thoughts or their work. Make sure you cite it appropriately to give them credit. You can use it, and it can inform your own ideas and your own writing and be included even as a direct quote, but just make sure you put quotation marks around it if it's a direct quote and that you cite it. And really that goes through the next couple of things. Paraphrasing, make sure you credit the source. It's great that you talk with your classmates and that you come up with ideas and you can use each other's ideas. Just make sure you credit the source. So if it's somebody in your class, credit them and say, in talking with this person, we discussed this idea and I think XYZ. That's fine. You've credited the source. Please don't present someone else's ideas as your own, again, without proper citation. We want to know what you think, and we are thinking it's what you think. And so don't take someone else's ideas or words or thoughts without crediting them. And then submitting material developed by someone else as your own. Unfortunately, there's become big business with colleges and even high school students with buying papers, where someone else does the research, someone else writes the paper, and this is not good. We want to hear from you. We want to know your thoughts. What did you find when you researched the information that you are going to include? What what has impacted your thoughts, ideas, perceptions, and how has this influenced you? How has it changed the way that you thought, or how has it affirmed the belief that you went into this with originally? How has that supported it through scientific studies, those types of things? So make sure that you submit material that's your own, because that's what we're interested in. We're not interested in somebody who wrote this paper for money. We want to know you. Submitting a paper or homework for which so much help was received that the results you're writing is significantly different than your own. It's good to go get help. It's good to reach out and utilize all the resources that are around you at NICC that can be helpful to you. That's all great and good. We want you to do that. But please don't submit somebody else's help. Turn it into your own or directly quote it and cite them. But we want it to be yours, and we get to know you over time as you write, and it becomes fairly obvious when you've slipped something in that isn't yours. Just as a reader, that's the case. So I'm not going to spend much time again on the rest of it, except to mention that I don't consider it cheating if you share notes with from classroom activities, discussions, and video recordings with each other, as long as you appropriately cite it as a resource that was used to develop your own ideas and complete your own work. And most work will be individual. I'm not sure that there's a group activity in this one. I'll have to think about that. But please do it yourself. We want to know what you think. And if there's an opportunity for group work, I'll let you know, and then I really want you guys working together. Late work. Okay, let's stop and pause about late work. As an instructor, I will confess, I hate late work. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. It really snarls things up for me. However, having said that, when I was in my master's degree program, I had a couple of significant life events that they knocked me sideways, let's say, and I wasn't able to fulfill my academic responsibilities in a timely manner. And my professors were very gracious and kind to me. They understood that what was going on was not something that was expected, planned, or could be prevented. It just happened, and it really impacted me. And they were gracious to give me extra time and were merciful to me to not take off a whole lot of points for it. And I want to extend the same mercy and compassion to you. If you have something happen that just totally knocks you sideways and it impacts your academics, please talk to me, let me know, and I will work with you as best I can so that you can make up your assignments in your quizzes, those types of things. The one thing that I do not accept late are discussions. So if this significant event happens to you, whatever it is, make sure you try and get your discussions done, because discussions can't really happen late. Once the due date is over, nobody's going back to those. They're not continuing the discussion. They're on to the next week's discussion. And that's the biggest reason with discussions. The other reason is I can't open it up student by student in Brightspace. I have to open it up for everybody, which throws a lot of other things in Brightspace off. So please, first of all, try not to have any late work. That would be the most ideal situation. Try and get everything in on time. If by chance you have something happen and you are not going to be able to turn everything in on time, at least do your discussions and reach out to me so that we can move the deadlines and due dates for other things out. All right? Hopefully we won't have to talk about that either. Hopefully your life will be good and you won't have some of those challenges. So moving down, please make sure that your assignments are typed. I don't think there's any handwritten assignments for this one that I will be asking for. Having spent years trying to read physician and provider handwriting, and even nursing handwriting at times, handwriting is just not my favorite thing. So typed is good. Typed is preferred. If something happens and you can't type it, reach out to me and we'll work through it. Extra credit opportunities. I offer one per class per semester. No more than that. And I also do not offer, I don't create, offer, or accept any individual student extra credit opportunities. I think that's inappropriate and I just don't do that. Technology in the classroom. I'm going to let you read through this. It's pretty standard, pretty understandable, but since we'll be Zooming live videotape, you might want to just skim through this so that you're familiar with my expectations here. Classroom conduct and behavior. Classes are an excellent place for all of us to hone our professional conduct and communication skills. We are expected to be respectful when dealing with each other, and use of polite language, appropriate tone of voice when communicating demonstrates such respect. We will be Zooming, so that will be helpful. So much of communication is body language. It is how you see the person, how they're reacting, their facial expressions, their tone of voice, and things like that. So we actually have an advantage over most online classes in that when we Zoom, we can see each other and we can see that communication and the intent behind it a little bit more than what you can with written communication. Has anyone ever sent a text and autocorrect has made a correction for you that you did not want, that has either significantly changed the tone of what you were sending or the content of what you were sending, or both, and you hit send only to realize, oh my, autocorrect has sabotaged me again? I would encourage you that if we are talking about online written communications, first of all, if you are the sender, please make sure you take the time to double check that that communication is how you want it, that it has appropriate tone of voice, that it has appropriate content, that autocorrect has not sabotaged you inadvertently, and that if you were reading it and someone didn't know you personally, that they would not be offended by it. So think about your punctuation, think about not using all caps and things like that tend to communicate shouting or aggression or that sort of thing. So if you're sending something, just double check it before you click send. We all make mistakes, and we certainly don't intend for that, but let's just try and take that extra step, that extra couple of seconds, and work on that. Now, having said that, if you are a recipient of online written communication, I also ask that you take mercy on the sender, and that when you read the message, you read it from a perspective of professionalism and business. What is the person trying to communicate in terms of the issue at hand? And let's focus on the issue and finding a resolution to the issue, or let's focus on the information that's contained in it. We are not here to get into beyond that. It's hard. It's hard to assign intent behind a written communication. There are times when it does come across maybe short or abrupt if it's very to the point. I know people that you can communicate with that on email it comes across very short and abrupt. They don't mean it to be. It's just they're very matter of fact, and they're all about the business. They're all about getting it done. And so as a result, sometimes people misperceive the communication that was sent, thinking, oh, they might be angry with me, or oh, that's they're upset, or some other type of intent behind it, which isn't there. So just make sure that when you read an email that you're not being hypersensitive to it. Now, having said that, that does not ever excuse inappropriate communication. If there is something that comes through and you are very uncomfortable with it, you need to speak up immediately and say, hey, can we talk about this? This is inappropriate to me. This made me feel ABC. We need to do that. It is never acceptable to insult or be uncivil. We can disagree, and we need to disagree. I mean, if we all had the same point of view, what's the point? What is there left to learn? What is, how are we going to do that? We need to learn to respect each other and respect other points of view, even if we disagree with them, and especially when we disagree with them. That's all about civility. And how else are we going to learn about differing perspectives if we immediately just shut down? So I'm asking you to be very careful if you are the sender, but I'm also asking you to be very merciful if you are the recipient, and not immediately take offense, but really look at, okay, what's the purpose behind this email? What's the content? What are we really trying to do here? What problem are we trying to solve, or what information are we trying to convey? And let's keep it on that kind of a level, because you will find as you go out into the real world That's what's expected. And if you've already been out in the real world, which many of you have, you know this. So I will move on from this topic. All right. Additional information, the Learning Center. If you have not utilized the Learning Center and you think you might, please do so. They are great people. They have wonderful services and they are eager to help you. So please reach out to them. If you are interested in the Read, Speak, or Listen button, try that out on Brightspace. Brightspace has some great enhancements that will help you as a student, especially if you happen to be an auditory learner instead of a visual or maybe a kinesthetic learner. We all have to play to our strengths, so take advantage of what Brightspace offers. Course copyright. I try really hard to follow that. Occasionally something slips past me and an instructional developer, thank God, catches it, and they are like, oh, you got to take this out. All right. So at the last minute, if you are looking at a discussion and I say, look at the 3 above articles and there's only 2, understand it was probably something with copyright that happened and I forgot to go back and change that when I had to take out the original article from the 3 to 2. So just know that that occasionally will happen to me. And hopefully as you are utilizing materials that you're also paying attention to copyright as you're going through what you're going through. We talked a little bit about etiquette, computer or communication online etiquette, but there is something called netiquette that you can look at that helps with civility in discussions and guidelines about forum messages. Accommodation policy. If you have or need an accommodation, please reach out to Disability Services on either campus. They are such good people and they are willing to do whatever they can to help you be successful, and I am too. So please feel free to reach out to me privately. We will keep that confidential between us as to what your accommodation is and what's needed. I want you to be successful. Please also don't be discouraged. We all have strengths. We all have weaknesses. There are things that I do abysmally poorly at, I will confess. And if there is something that can help us play to our strengths and improve our weaknesses, we would be very foolish not to take advantage of that. So if you have or need an accommodation, please feel good about that you're getting what you need to be successful, and that's what counts at the end of the day. We here at NICC want you to be successful. And that leads into the next piece, which is the statement of non-discrimination. NICC does not discriminate on the basis of race, color, national origin, sex, disability, age, employment, sexual orientation, gender identity, creed, religion, or actual or potential parental, family, or marital status in its programs, activities, or employment practices. We are here to help you succeed. And end of the story, so to speak. We want you to succeed, no matter what. So course calendar is below. Due dates are typically the Mondays following the week of class. And the deadlines are indicated in Brightspace. Brightspace is sort of my place of truth. I try and keep that the most accurate. So if you're looking for something, look in Brightspace first. If Brightspace has a conflict or you're just not sure after looking in Brightspace, then shoot me an email and I will work it out with you. I will probably post an announcement for everyone in Brightspace just to keep us all current. Discussions, you are welcome to complete those in advance. Just don't forget you need to reply to at least 5 of your classmates' posts every week, and those close on Mondays at 11:30 in the evenings. There's rubrics for most of the discussions. I like to use rubrics because I think they're fair and they're upfront. They tell you what I'm looking for. Before you even get started, you know, okay, here's what she's looking for. Here's what she's hoping you will have in your discussion or in your assignment. So you will see that I tend to use rubrics and I grade off of those. Video reviews. I put this in here because I was really hoping that you would watch the video reviews for Syllabus and, well, we were going to talk about Syllabus and studying, and then the book appendices at the back of the book. And I wanted you to watch those first because I think they'll be very helpful, but that hopefully you're watching this video right now, which is one of them. It's really a chance for us to go through this syllabus and for you to be aware of things in it. Assignments can be started and completed at any time. They have specific due dates, rubrics for the assignments, and all of that. And then the things that open weekly are your weekly assignments. Those open on Tuesdays and close on Mondays. You get 2 attempts at your weekly assignments. They are timed but not time limited. They're grade based on completion only. They're worth 30 points. So when you do a weekly assignment, it's under quizzes, but it's an assignment for you to complete. It's all sorts of multiple choice questions, and it's designed to help you see where you need to focus your studying on before you take the weekly quiz. So you will take it, Brightspace will score it, and then I will go back afterwards and turn it all into 30 points, which is an A, just for you having done at least one of those, because you do have 2 attempts if you want to take advantage of that. Then there are weekly quizzes. Those open on Fridays at 12:30 in the morning and close on Mondays at 11:30 p.m. They're one and done. They are 1 attempt only. They are time limited, and they are graded based on correct answers only. Brightspace, again, will automatically score and grade those, and the purpose is to demonstrate your proficiency with the materials that you learned that week. So here, this is our course calendar. This is what we were hoping to do today, was review syllabus, review the chapter study guide, and the book features. That's what I was hoping to do for class today. So you're going to watch videos on all of that. We won't fall behind, and you'll have that. You need to do 2 online discussions this week, and they are there for you. They are due on the 31st, and then you will have an online weekly assignment on chapters 1 and 2, and then you will have the online weekly quiz. The assignment opens, I think I said, when did I say? Tuesdays. So it's already open, and the weekly quiz will open on Friday. But on Wednesday, we will go over chapters 1 and 2. I've got slides, and I will review those with you on Zoom if Zoom is working. If Zoom is not working, I've actually already recorded lectures for another section of HSC 114 that I teach that's entirely online, and I'll upload those, and you'll be able to view those. But hopefully, we'll be able to Zoom so I can see your faces and you can see mine. And then it just goes on from there. Week 2 will be in chapters 3 and 4. It tells you what they are about, how many points are involved. It will tell you about course objectives and all of that. And then, yeah, so it just keeps going on down from there. You'll note that there are some times when we will not have Zoom, and that is a scheduling. This one happens to be on Labor Day. But this one, I actually have a commitment elsewhere, and I've planned to take the day off. I will be around and about, but I'm planning to take the day off that day in terms of our Zooming, because I have another commitment. And then you'll see down here, there's a couple of other days when we have no Zoom. On Monday the 19th, there's all of NICC's instructors have a mandatory session that we have to attend. So I'll lecture in advance and on video, and I'll post that for you. And you'll see there are some others. But for the most part, we will be together Mondays and Wednesdays. And you can see we do have a final project for you to work on, and some other things in between. So lots of exciting stuff ahead for us, and we will have a grand time. And I'm really excited to hear from all of you and meet all of you. I'll make sure I get my introduction posted as well, so you can get to know me a little bit better, although there's information about me as an instructor in Brightspace, so you can look there too. All right, take care. I'll be back to talk to you again soon. I hope you have a wonderful week, and remember Wednesday, if Zoom is up, Wednesday around 12:05, we will dive into chapters 1 and 2. Take care.